Living in a cave under the ground for 6 weeks. I do not think a child could have passed through what I did and have forgotten it. My name is Lucy McRae. Like most other nights, my mother made the beds for my brothers and me. I, being the spoiled child that I was, decided to move my bed from near Mary Ann to near the Reverend Dr. Lord, who was suffering from a sore leg, propped up for proper support. He assisted me as best as he could in making my bed, as we heard the deathly clatter of shells sent over from the enemy, the Union. Suddenly, a shell cascaded into the cave we resided in and collapsed a portion of the roof. I was buried under heaps of debris, and Dr. Lord's leg was trapped as well. He gave word that a child was buried, and my mother rushed to save us from the crushing mess. She and some others succeeded in freeing my head, whilst others rushed out in fear of the rest of the roof caving in. As they rushed out, another shell burst in the sky, scaring them back into our cave. Mother called out,
My name is John Clifford Pemberton. In my lifetime, I had an extensive military career, although not the best record for victories. I was born on August 10, 1814, in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. In my time, I served in almost all the American wars as a member of the artillery. My first position was in the Virginia Infantry, but I relocated back to the artillery. I was appointed by General Robert E. Lee to become a sector commander on Port Royal Island. Honored, I took over Lee's position in March of 1862 and kept this position until September of the same year. Later, I was transferred to Mississippi and commanded the troops there and troops located in Louisiana east of the Mississippi River. Now starts the beginning of my military downfall. In the Civil War, I sided with the Confederates due to my marriage to Martha Thompson of Norfolk, Virginia. The tasks of keeping my army together and defending all of Vicksburg fell into my hands. This was not an easy job to keep up with. Suffering military losses to Grant at Champion Hill and Jackson due to the fact that I did not send enough troops to defeat him, I had my soldiers retreat to Vicksburg. I had expected my ally, Johnston, to come to my aid with his own troops, but he, too, made a huge mistake and did not send enough men to distract Grant from Vicksburg. We had clearly underestimated the Union force. Grant and his men laid siege of the city and blocked all supplies coming into us. There was constant bombardment upon the people of this town, and they were forced to retreat into caves. Their lives were entirely readjusted by this. My army of 33,000 soldiers was no match whatsoever to Grant's 77,000. There was no food for the townspeople, and weapons were limited. After running out of ammunition, my men even began to catch live grenades and throw them back towards the enemy. Not only were the villagers forced into hunger, but also my men and me. We resorted to eating anything we could find, and our desperation was frightening. Then, the hot summer began, and our situation became even more dire. Finally, on July 4th, we surrendered to the Union troops. We could not survive the war anymore. The hardships we had faced finally began to take their real toll around this time. This was a devastating blow to the Confederation, for Vicksburg was the last remaining stronghold for the South on the Mississippi River. In addition, losing this battle caused the Confederacy to split in half, detrimental to the South in the war. However, my men refused to go down without an intense fight. We managed to defeat about 5,000 of the troops Grant had brought in, but we lost almost 3,000 men in the battle ourselves. After this crushing defeat, I was severely ostracized for not fighting to the death, rather for surrendering to the Union troops. But I couldn't continue watching as the citizens of Vicksburg and the troops defending it crumbled under Grant's siege, going hungry and being forced from their homes. We had invaded these innocent people's city and jeopardized their lives in doing so. Many of these people died from several different causes during the time spent in these caverns. I just didn't see the point of losing thousands of lives, including my own, soldiers, and civilians, for the sake of my military reputation. The people of Vicksburg were extremely bitter about this defeat. They even refused to celebrate Independence Day for 80 years after the siege because it was such an unpleasant reminder. A year passed, and the Union exchanged me. I offered to serve as a private to regain the people's respect, knowing I would not receive a much higher position regardless, and eventually was repositioned into the artillery as a lieutenant colonel in charge of Richmond's artillery. After the war, I retired to a Virginia farm with my family and died on July 13, 1881 in Penland, Pennsylvania.
My name is Ulysses Simpson Grant. My birth name was Hiram Ulysses Grant, and my father was a tanner. I was born on April 27, 1822, in Point Pleasant, Ohio. At an early age, I distinguished myself as a skilled horseman. In 1839, I received an appointment to the military school of West Point from Congressman Hamer. In fact, I graduated 21st out of 37 in my class in 1843. Not too bad, I would say. I was assigned to the 4th Infantry in the Mexican War and served as quartermaster general at the regiment. There, I performed extraordinarily well. I occasionally served as company commander as well. In the Mexican War, I received 2 brevets for my valiant courage in 2 separate battles. At the start of the Civil War, I offered to serve for Illinois, but unfortunately was denied of this privilege. Later on, I was appointed as colonel by the governor of Illinois. As colonel, I first served the 21st Illinois Infantry Regiment and was later appointed to brigadier general. At Belmont, Missouri, I led an attack on Confederate positions, but they fought back and drove my men back up the Mississippi River. I was surprised at their ability to make us, the Union, retreat. Now, the first major success of my military career came in 1862. This triumph was my capturing of Fort Henry and Fort Donaldson. At these attacks, I gained my nickname Unconditional Surrender Grant. Another great victory for the Union and myself occurred in 1863, the Siege of Vicksburg. This battle was not only important because of its position on the Mississippi River, but also because the Union gained the last Confederate stronghold on the Mississippi, and it boosted our morale. Even though we managed to capture the city, there were some difficult factors on the actual procedure of doing so. The city was practically shielded from attack by ships due to the many hills in the landscape. Also, to the south, there were small cliffs guarded by batteries that made attack from that direction very unlikely as well. To the north, the land was covered by small bodies of water, obviously making it difficult to trek across. The best course of action to take was the 200-mile journey from the east. I tried several unsuccessful attempts to take Vicksburg, including a naval attack, the digging of a canal, along with 3 other attempts. After these many failed endeavors, I decided to cross the river under Vicksburg, from the Arkansas side of it, with only what we were able to carry with us. I figured that was the best course of action. We worked our way up to the Mississippi by fighting battles, such as the Battle of Champion Hill and Jackson. I was so extremely grateful for the help of Admiral David Porter, who helped me transport my men across the river. The first assault was made on May 18th, but again was futile. Then on May 22nd, I tried once more and still was incapable of capturing the city. This was unimaginably infuriating, as one could believe, so I had to boost my forces in order to finally have a successful attack. My army grew in size and eventually blockaded the Confederates long enough for them to surrender. After all of these discouraging failures, I kept perseverance and it paid off. And what better day to emerge victorious from a long, strenuous battle than Independence Day? This victory put the Mississippi River into Union control, opening our supply ships to the river. I was ecstatic to hear that I had been promoted to Major General because of my victory. Afterwards, several other triumphs in my military career occurred, the peak being when Lincoln bestowed upon me the honor of being in total command of the Union. In my later years, I was elected as the 18th President of the United States in 1868 on the Republican ticket. At the age of 63, I died on July 23, 1885, on Mount McGregor, New York.
Here is what the Union troops used to blockade the city of Vicksburg and keep supplies from coming in or out of Vicksburg. Here is the Mississippi River, which surrounded the edge of Vicksburg. Here is the peninsula that was surrounded by water on 3 sides of it. Here are the houses of some of the people who lived in Vicksburg who were on the Confederate side of the war. Here's the hill located in Vicksburg. These are the caves that the inhabitants of Vicksburg were forced to live in during the Siege of Vicksburg. And there is the flag that lies on top of the hill. The gray Sour Patch Kids represent the Confederate troops, and the blue ones represent Union troops. Each one represents 1,000 men, and each one that has fallen represents 1,000 men that fell.
I'll tell you what I want, what I really, really want.
So tell me what you want, what you really, really want.
I'll tell you what I want, what I really, really want.
So tell me what you want, what you really, really want.
I wanna really, really, really wanna siege Vicksburg.
If you wanna take my city, you gotta kill all my men.
Gotta kill all your
Make
men.
it last forever, this battle never ends.
If I'm gonna take this city, I have got to win. Taking it's too easy, Pemberton, you'll give in. I'll tell you what I want, what I really, really want.
So tell me what you want, what you really, really want.
I'll tell you what I want, what I really, really want.
So tell me what you want, what you really, really want.
I wanna really, really, really wanna siege of Vicksburg.